We're back.
We're back.
Cheers, girls.
Cheers, 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 cheers. That's bad luck, mate. I didn't cheers you.
I think we've had enough
tried
bad
to
luck
get
this
there.
year.
Tried to get there,
Don't
it just
anymore.
wasn't quite, you know.
I think a couple of people had a couple bad luck the last 4 weeks.
Lots and lots of bad luck.
Yeah. I think that's where we'll start actually. Have you all seen, obviously, the Dutch situation?
Of course.
Everyone's
on this, yeah.
What is everyone's thoughts? I mean, obviously he's not been arrested, he's not been convicted,
Has
but we've all seen the receipts.
I was just going to say, has everyone seen the thread?
I
have. Voice notes.
I mean, I actually tried to stay away from it at first.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Because I just thought until there's enough information out there, I don't want to make my own opinion kind of thing. But I just feel like it was just so in your face through everyone that I just felt like I had to do my research to try and form a sort of opinion.
And there were so many people speaking on it, so many artists and stuff. And then
so
artists
many
being
people in the
dragged into it as well.
I think it was a real hot topic at the time as well, because obviously what happened in Mitcham, was it Mitcham?
The girl that got,
and so everyone had
so.
literally been talking
Just
about that whole topic. And then this suddenly came out, and it was okay, are we keeping the same energy? Or
That's a lot of people were saying that, yeah.
Yeah, because that guy, that video that first came out, he obviously hadn't been arrested or convicted or anything, but everyone was calling him out, posting his face. And then Dutch was just silent. When it all came out, nothing was said. I noticed that Stefan was not saying nothing.
Yeah, they were saying stuff behind the scenes that was getting screenshotted.
Yeah. And then obviously pages like Shade Borough and stuff were posting everything as it was coming, and I know that Dutch's other sister had called out Conan, so had said Conan is doing.
Why did she bring him into it? Do you reckon?
I don't know, but then
try and
Conan
shed
and
some
Craig
light
the heat off.
to take the heat off it. But Dutch was saying nothing, wasn't kind of saying I didn't do this
one way or another
or anything. But then she was throwing someone right out in front of the bus with no information, no evidence or anything. And I noticed on the thread below that Crept and Conan was commenting saying you'll be hearing from my lawyers, and then she made a public apology to say sorry, I know what I'm doing is wrong. So it just all seems a little bit funny.
It does seem a bit suspect, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying he definitely has done something, but there's too many situations where it's something's not adding up.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I personally think that the whole scenario, whether it be either of the individuals that we're talking about or on a wider scale, it's all really just the patriarchal society that we live in, because I'm sure that we've all had experience with it, being, growing up as a female and having that kind of unwanted attention.
I was just going to say, how old was the girl? Was she 14?
Yeah.
And I just remember at 14 walking through the street and grown men wanting to me and you wanted to be, and then we would be F off, we're 14 mate, you sicko.
I used to sit there playing my game at the age of 13, 14,
right.
You know what I mean? And you're trying to, a full grown adult was trying it. I remember one time there was this one guy, and I had to tell his mate, because his mate actually knows my dad, and my dad would have gone sick. Do you know what I mean? Full grown adult. I'm sure he was was he 30 or something?
He was over
that?
30.
And I was 15, and he was really pushing the boundaries, and I thought to myself you better tell him, because otherwise my dad is going to kill the fuck out of him.
As a young girl though, I remember being at school and as a young girl 14, 15, and then I would see girls being picked up from school from older guys 17-year-olds in a car and stuff, and I remember thinking that's a bit weird. At what point? And I grew up with brothers, obviously older brothers, and I used to think I could never imagine them picking up a young girl. But I remember I was 14 or 13, and I remember when everyone used to hang around at the shops. Well, I don't know if everyone did, but I did. Bottle of lamb.
I'm sure we
Friday
did.
night.
Yeah,
But we used to hang around with a group of older lads, and there was a lad there who was probably I think he's 19 or 20, and he was asking me out. And I remember going home and saying to my mum, my brother's about it, because that's just kind of what we're like in our family, quite open.
Yeah.
And my brother's being are you mad? What are you talking about? He's a grown adult, and I remember being what? He doesn't act that old, but as a young female, you're so impressionable. And you think, but he's cool, he's older. And then, now I I'm like, that is mad weird.
When we were that age as well, we probably thought we were a lot sassier than what we actually were. Like 100%. I think we thought we just knew everything.
Yeah.
But we
I
clearly
think
didn't.
as well there's reason that there's laws that say that children can't consent to things.
Yeah.
Because you
Under
are
the age
you
of
are
a
too
certain
young
age.
at that age. You're too young to
You don't
know
understand.
what is going on. If you're getting attention like that, like you might either feel uncomfortable or you might feel a little bit flattered by it. But
Yeah.
at the end of the day, when you're 13, 14, 15, you are a child.
You have that child brain.
Exactly. You're not.
You
you're
can't
not
make
grown mentally, physically. Like
Can't
of
be
course
making
you can't
those-
make those sort of decisions.
And I know that in the situation that we were talking about, like Dutch was saying, you don't have context. Like a lot of the messages were deleted, but like there's voice notes in there, and there was one message I think that said something like you should come and stay over my house or something along those lines. I can't quote it exactly, but in whatever context you're asking it. I mean, we've got two guys in the room. Like, would you ever, in whatever context, ever dream of saying anything like that, whether family friend or whatever he was calling out as, to a 14-year-old?
Exactly.
No.
Not unless there was some kind of.
But there's no justification,
intention,
I don't
exactly.
think. Like, no matter what like, why is a full-grown adult talking to a 14-year-old? Like, regardless
Family
of
friend or
what
not.
type of conversation it is.
You just don't know if they think it's okay, because you see some of these older guys, like I'm talking like in their like 50s dating, then maybe girls like 25, and that's
Yeah.
acceptable because obviously like everyone can
Both
consent,
consenting adults.
and then it makes you think. Then the guys who are like then 30, do they then think it's okay to be talking to a 50? Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean?
I
Like,
just
it's-
think the
yeah.
maturity level is so different. That of
100%,
like, you know, a
100%.
grown man to, I mean, Dutch is like our age, well, like my age,
Yeah.
and like I just think the experiences that I've had, like now, would like compared to my experiences as a 14-year-old,
Yeah.
it's just so far apart. Like, I don't know, I just
It
can't
is
see
really messed up, obviously.
Also, Notes cheated on his pregnant girlfriend. Can we just? And then
Shame.
I know.
That's so sad.
And then the girl came out that he'd like cheated on her with and aired it out all on social media.
Didn't she write
did
some
She came on live.
track, or am I getting my
She
lines
came out
crossed?
on
I wouldn't be
live.
surprised.
Yeah.
I'm
It
sure
sounds like a
she
thing that
wrote
happens
some
in the
kind because she's a
industry.
YouTuber, isn't
Yeah.
she?
Okay.
And I'm sure that like she, I don't know, wrote some bar or made a diss track or something, and it was like a direct dig at that. And then the girlfriend responded, just being like, "I'm in this for life, so I'm not even going to stoop to that
She
level."
came on social media, but I know that she came on live and she was saying like she was like reading all the receipts and she posted screenshots of their conversation, and me and Siege were reading it, and like her responses weren't that of "leave me alone, you've got a girlfriend." They were very like, "Where are
That's
you? I
so
live here.
bad.
When are you
Yeah.
coming?" She was inviting that invitation. I'm not saying that makes it right for what he did, but she tried to go out there and air him out like he was coming on to her. But from the receipts that we saw, the screenshots, it was
She was-
definitely looking like she
I
was
do
enticing
find
that
some,
behaviour.
like some girls they just want that bit of clout as well. Like, why are you bringing it to social?
Because I didn't know
now?
she was
Like,
for
why-
that.
Exactly. She
Why
wants to
not
be
save-
known for that reason.
Why not
like,
save the pregnant girlfriend the embarrassment of all of that coming out?
Oh, that's a
Have
family.
her-
That's a real life situation.
I know that's
private-
someone's
have a private
life.
Yeah,
conversation.
yeah.
Have a
100%.
private conversation with her. If she don't want to know, she don't want to know. But at least you've tried. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? I hate all that.
There's
like,
definitely
oh,
a high road and a low road in this
Yeah.
situation.
Yeah.
I think.
Like, she obviously felt the need to prove herself in some way to
Yeah.
whoever, but you don't need to do that, really.
Not publicly.
You're the one in
No.
the wrong at the end of the day.
And I think as well, there's a massive difference between someone cheating when both opposite parties are not aware. Like, say,
Yeah.
if she wasn't aware that he had a girlfriend, let alone a pregnant girlfriend,
Yeah.
like, that's different.
That's
but if
completely
she
different.
knew,
Which
where's the girl code?
Yeah.
Like,
of course she knew, because Notes isn't
People
quiet
know,
about
don't they?
it. Like, he's posting her. It's not like he hides her. Like, he's active on his social media.
This
about
girl,
being with her, about being pregnant.
she
She
just
would be
wanted to be
watching.
special. She wanted to be special for 5 minutes because obviously she didn't feel special.
Yeah, and
Like,
look at it now. Like, you
yeah.
died down and now you look like a prick. Let's be honest. Every girl is looking at you like, where? Yeah, like you say, where's the girl code?
Yeah.
Like, no, we just don't
Where
do
was that
that.
keeping it private just to save that person?
I get
embarrassment
sometimes
before?
cheating isn't like black and white. Like
Yeah.
sometimes
Yeah.
someone can go through a situation and then they cheat and like it's not as bad as it
not
like.
simple,
But
yeah.
this is just messy, isn't it?
Yeah.
It is just messy.
And it's just
Awful.
public and embarrassing.
Yeah,
I just
she
think,
just wanted that clout. I think.
imagine as well, she's pregnant, so that stress.
no, that's so horrible.
Like, it's just not.
I
Why
actually
would you
couldn't
do that to
imagine.
another
No,
woman?
no.
Like imagine if it was roles reversed.
because girls don't owe shit. And CJ always tells me, people do not owe you shit in this life.
No.
The people, apart from your family and those people that truly love you,
And
people that don't know you, they don't owe you nothing. Like, it's up to the person that you're with to address it. So if I'm in a club and we're together and some girl starts coming over and acting up, she don't owe me nothing. So I'm supposed to I'm just supposed to stand there and let him deal with that situation and appropriately manage it. Like, I don't know how you guys feel about it. Imagine if you're in a place with your girl or whatever and someone comes over, how do you react? Do you call them out on it, or do you just wait and let it play out? Because I know, like, I've learned a lot of things. In the past, I would have been going absolutely mad. I would have been like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Get away. I would have been fiery as hell. But now, I don't know if it's age or experience, but as like kind of life has gone on and lessons I've been taught, you just don't need to act like that, because in the end you look like the worst off person. Just stand there calmly and let
the way that you respond to situations and the way that people treat you is way more of a reflection on their relationship with themselves than it is anything about 100%. You.
That's why I've been through some big life events and that, and then like how I've reacted, I'm cool.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. I know exactly what you're on about.
I feel like it's easier said than done to like not react to.
Yeah.
It definitely comes with both age and experience.
Yeah.
Like, it's definitely.
And whether alcohol's involved.
Like
Just if you can, when a drink's involved.
If you can control a situation, obviously the best way that you can, that's great. Sometimes you can see red.
Yeah.
Your emotion gets the
Sometimes
best
you
of you.
see red.
Yeah.
We've had those moments in the past.
I seriously have, and that's what I mean. I don't know whether it's age or experience that has taught me how to react in those situations to not look like an absolute idiot at the end of it, because you can stand there, be going mad, and if that person you're with is just standing there saying nothing, it's just you that looks like an idiot.
Yeah.
Maybe the girl saw red. Maybe she no, I've been keeping this in too long. I'm just gonna go all out there, because we don't really. The thing is, we don't know what happens behind closed doors, and like we've seen obviously a side on social media, but it's literally, isn't there two sides in the truth?
Yeah.
So
another thing I saw was the Nole and Trillery
big
firing.
up Nole, because she can spit so hard, man.
The thing is,
she spits so
I don't even
hard.
know where this has all come from, but it come out of the blue, and now it's just like they are going for each other.
Can someone fill me in on this? Because I don't know. I'm particularly like familiar with this situation.
I'm not gonna even lie. I don't really know who Trillery Banks. Yeah. Trillery.
I know who she is, because there's a couple of tracks that I've listened to. I don't think she's massive, but like White Hennessy is a song that I play all the time. So it's just
but anyways, like I don't even know where it's come from either. I think she just started going for Nole, because Nole's got this kind of top spot in regards to like lyricism.
Somebody released a track, and I think it might have been Trillery, where she said like, I'm top of the game, and then I think it kind of got on some people's like nerves to be like you say, like, who are you?
Yeah.
And then I think Nole hit back, and then the whole Auntie Nole thing came, and then it's just kind of gone back and forth. But it's like the Bugsy and Chip thing. Like it's made people know who they are.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's like, it's clever.
Nole has been around for a long time. I think she has come back though with a vengeance. And also I think she was mentioning about Trillery that someone else was writing her bars, because she's wearing this like thing around like her mouth, and then she's like spitting, and then she's doing that because if she just forgets her bars or something like that. So then like, and Nole's like, that's why you're wearing that. Like.
And I think on the platform that whatever they were released, the platform it was released on the kind of what do they call it? You know what I'm trying to say?
No, not quite.
What, grind, baby?
No. When you have the rights to the music,
Come on, CJ.
No. Like when you masters.
Masters.
The masters and stuff. The masters and music. No one's helping me out here.
And we're back in the room.
Whoever the masters were owned, and on the platform it was on, was listed by the person who was producing it. So he was saying, well, all of mine are listed as that. And he was like, Nole came out on Twitter and said, well, that just makes it look even worse, because you're getting paid for other people's work. So whatever way you look at it, you're fucking up, basically. But yeah, I just think social media over the last week, obviously it's been lockdown, so everyone's just acting. I feel like that's what happens. You focus a lot more on what's going on.
People getting cabin fever as well, and like airing more dirty laundry on the internet.
People get in their feelings. They're kind of like looking at things, and they're getting more wound up, and like obviously if we were having a bit of normal interaction, going out and seeing our friends and
we wouldn't
whatever.
have time to sit there and go through these things and overthink stuff and things like that. Because I must admit, I've been doing the same thing.
You need to look at my screen time on my phone. It's gone from like 2 hours a day to like 24 hours a day because I'm just sat there like. I feel like it just becomes
what it is
obsessive.
on mine, the amount of pickups. Like, sometimes I'm like, why am I still picking my phone
Yeah,
up?
or like
every
you'll
5
come out of
seconds.
Instagram, then you'll go,
And
and
then
then you
literally
go
put it down,
straight back
lock
onto
it.
Instagram.
It's almost
like
like you're in autopilot mode because like I'll go on Facebook. I'm like, I don't even want to go on
I don't want to
Facebook.
go. Yeah, why am I even
checking
checking app right now?
Facebook?
Like, I don't want to go on my phone, and then I'm like, I just put it down. And literally 2 minutes later, it's back in my hand again. I'm like, what is wrong with me?
I know.
So I actually have to allow myself now time to just put my phone like away and just not have it near me.
I've actually noticed quite a few people have like had a break from social media in this lockdown. I don't know whether that's because people's mental health have taken a little bit of a decline because of the stress on everyone. I mean, in our situation, we're lucky enough to all kind of be okay, but in some people's situation, they've lost their job, they're in massive debt, they've got family issues, and they're, you know, cooped up with perhaps like a partner that they don't particularly like, or it's not a healthy relationship. So I know that some people
are in way worse situations.
In a way worse situation. And I feel like
I always try to think that as well. Like if I ever think I'm having a bad day, I try to think someone is going through it way worse than me. Come on, get back to reality, girl. Like, you got this.
It's hard. We do get in our feelings sometimes, don't we? But yeah.
And I don't know whether social media like feeds into it.
100%.
Because sometimes it's helpful, because sometimes I see something and it inspires me to do something better.
Of course.
And it like makes me want to be better. And then other times, like I compare myself. And I think it's just something you do naturally as a human being. You kind of look at things and you think, oh, I wish I could be doing that, or I wish... But I think that's a lot to be said for kind of investing in your own self-love, isn't it? And I think that kind of manifests a lot of the rest of your life is how you feel about yourself and just being confident and working with what you've got. Like,
100%.
I don't know how you guys manage like those kind of feelings, but for me, like I've always found like just being confident in my own ability has just made everything else in my life just be a lot better. So I remember like ages ago, like people would be like, oh, they love themselves. It'd be such a par to be saying like, oh, they love themselves.
Stop it.
A
girl as an insult tried to say to me, you love yourself. And in my head I was thinking,
good.
Isn't that a good thing?
Exactly. Yes, I do. Thank you.
Me and Chloe have this conversation all the time. There's a difference between confidence and arrogance, and it's okay to be okay with who you are and love who you are. Like, it doesn't matter. Why is it affecting anybody else? Whether I love myself, I do love myself. I'm a good person. I'm a really nice person with a good heart. So what the hell is there not to love about myself?
I'm a firm believer that actually, and I've been doing a lot of work with my therapist with this, that self-love is really the root of everything. Every single thing that you try and accomplish or achieve, or every goal that you set in your life, or every dream, or everything that you want, everything, ultimately it all comes down to the relationship that you have with yourself. And that really, I think I even mentioned this last time, like I've only realised how important that is literally within the last few months, and perhaps that wouldn't have happened if it hadn't have been for lockdown and like having that extra time at home.
I'm completely with you. I feel like lockdown for me highlighted maybe how much I wasn't taking care of myself. More so than like actually the whole self-care side of things. So I definitely have taken a lot more time to, you know, even just having a whole day trying to have a whole day to myself. Obviously I have a child and stuff, so that is very, very rare. But I do try and allow like a good afternoon to myself, even just to have a bath and wash my hair. Literally, you'd be very surprised at how much I'm like, oh my god, I've actually forgotten to do that for like 3 weeks in a row, like just painting my toes or something like that. Do you know what I mean? Like I've just realised I do just need to take time for myself no matter what the situation.
I think doing inner work is so hard because then it reflects your outer work.
Yeah, definitely.
Like
It works
when you kind of make those standards for yourself for the inside, and you got to recognise obviously the good and the bad in you, just kind of work on yourself as a person, how to be a better person. And then when you choose not to settle in life as well, and regarding like your career and your friends, and like you just don't want to kind of let any kind of bad vibe, you know, anything bad come into your life, and that like you're not dust, don't settle.
She loves a quote.
We love a quote. And you've got to like unlearn things as well. I think that you're taught from like childhood and things like that with self-love, because we get to, from a young age we're taught like certain things and like certain mind, like you said about when people say like, oh, you love yourself, like we thought that was probably maybe okay to say that when we was younger, but when we realised actually no, it's like there's a massive difference.
Each other up and things like that as well,
and I think that's why, and I think I completely agree that self-love is everything, but also your environment is so important, because you can love yourself and be really confident in yourself as much as you want. Put yourself in a shit relationship, it goes like this. You put yourself around bad friends.
We have all.
I know. And I think that's like a lot of the times when I felt really most confident, apart from now where I have a partner that just adores me and tells me that I'm worth things and stuff. But there has been previous places where I've been in my life where whilst I've been single, I've been majorly confident, I've been really out there, and then it kind of like crashes down really slowly, where people just take those things from you, and it happens over a long period of time. And then once you become single again, or once you are in a new place in your life, you then have to rebuild that. And it's the same with friendships. Like when I go to Vibe on a Wednesday, being around other women that are so empowering and are okay to be confident and compliment each other and just be okay within themselves is so mad empowering. At the end of the session now, we do affirmations. I think affirmations are another thing that's really important to actually say to yourself. I am worth it and I am confident, and that's one thing that I welcome every week, to just give myself a bit of self-love as affirmations.
Twerk After Work do that too at the end of every single class, affirmations, and I've started doing them in the morning. So I was going to say something that has really, really helped me. So I do get up mad early now, like 5.
Dude, I do.
But so I have to leave for work at 7. So
never catch me up at 5 o'clock unless I'm coming in for like 5 a.m. does not.
No, but it's good because it means that rather than just jumping out of bed, quickly getting ready and rushing, flying around, it means I can get up, I can have a coffee, I can see the cat, I can listen to some music, I can do some yoga. You're starting your day off right mentally. I can write in my journal, I can do all this stuff that actually sets me, and I've been doing it consistently for about 3 or 4 weeks now, and it has not failed me every single day. That's like, really even if I've had a really stressful day or a bad day, which I'm learning are not synonymous. You can have a day which is busy, doesn't make it bad. No. As long as you're in the right mindset, you can literally take on anything, and it's so good.
There's another thing to be said, which poet says, so important. And it's like, there's 24 hours in a day. Why let 1 hour, even if it's 1 hour of stress, ruin that whole 24 hours of your day? Like, you have to really kind of take the good with the bad and not focus on those bad things. We're all very good at as humans, especially females. We're really hard on ourselves. So when things go wrong, it's like, oh, everything's gone wrong. Like, what am I going to do? And it really takes yourself to ground yourself.
Like what he's saying.
One little thing can really ruin like my whole day, and I need to get out of that habit 100%, because I feel like it just brings me down and then makes me be negative about other stuff that's happening throughout the day. Whereas if I just ignored the first thing, maybe the second thing I wouldn't have got worked up. Do you know what I mean? Like I wouldn't have got so worked up about. But
what he's saying is so logical about like why you let 1 hour ruin like 23 more hours, and like, but we're all human, aren't we?
Yeah.
So sometimes but what's good as well, like if you feel like you've been a little bit defeated in that, don't beat yourself up too much. Just do things to make yourself happier. As well. So don't choose to then keep.
I tend to sometimes let things build. So I'll like something will annoy me, and I'm annoyed, and then everything that happens on top of that, it may be tiny. Like the other day, I was having a bad day at work. It was just a stressful day. Then it burnt my toast, and I just lost it.
Yeah.
Like, I lost it.
And it was just like, the straw that
burnt my toast. Like, she was like, babe. Literally, it's just.
I was crying over blinds the other day. Like, I was crying over blinds, and it's just like, I'm not actually crying over blind, I'm crying over the 50 other things that happen.
But it's important to know that whether you're male or female, like, it's okay to be sad about things, it's okay to cry, it's alright to just be upset about things. Like,
sometimes it's just like a frustration cry.
That's okay. Like, if you actually think, like, I think crying is such a relief.
It's healthy.
Yeah, that's what, like,
I love a good
people
crying.
seem to like have so many negative connotations with crying, but actually if you think about what you are physically like releasing from your body by doing that, and
I
even
always feel better afterwards. Like, I can't see it as a negative thing. Even my friend the other day was like, oh, have you ever like gone into the shower and done like a shower cry? And I was like,
shower cries are relief.
I was like, what is this? She goes, no, it's a thing. It's a thing. She goes, go into the shower, and then she was like, just let it all out. She's like, you come out a new woman.
Because the water washes.
I don't think I could like purposely go and cry in the shower.
Yeah, just make past those tears. Like,
Like, in the sense that I'm not going to save my tears for the shower. I don't think I could cry in the shower. When I cry, it happens.
Yeah.
I could be out on the road, like, I'm going to cry. Like,
oh god, yeah. When I cry, like, I'm a very emotional person. I'm
Same.
a Cancerian, so I'm a crier, and like when it's happening, it's happening. It doesn't matter where I am. If I'm crying, like
I'm an ugly crier as well. Like proper, like catching my breath. Like I'm not just like a tear down the cheek girl. I'm like a proper sobber. Like I just can't help myself. But like I say, I don't feel like there's anything wrong with it. I feel better afterwards, as long as it's not like having a massive impact on like your everyday life. You're crying. There's been times where I've been in really bad places where that has been like a saviour to be able to go and just have a little cry and then come back and focus. But like,
so then imagine all those men that think that they can't cry or they're not able to cry, or like I read something really sad the other day. It was on like a Twitter account where people send in like confessions, and it was basically saying about how like this guy, he cries every day on his way to and from work because him and his girlfriend lost a baby, and he doesn't cry in front of her because he wants to be the strong one. Like, how sad is that?
And that's, I think it's important for guys as well to have that like time, like
Definitely.
and like we all like we have like a pamper or like whatever we do.
guys
to make
don't admit it that they need it.
I think that's a feminist issue. Why should men feel like they can't show emotions because that makes them weak, because that's seen as a feminine thing to do? That's a feminist issue.
It is. Feminism is so imperfect, isn't it? Like,
it's so complex. There's
I
so many
just think
different
that
levels.
people think it's all about like the advancement of women, and actually I think there's a lot that can be said for it benefiting men as well if we just look at it in a more bigger picture sense.
Just for it to be equal, less stress for men. Like I know that like experience I've had, I know lots of guys. Obviously I've got 3 brothers, and I'm like, you know, lucky enough to have really good male friends that when I feel like there's so much pressure for men to be like earners and providers, and like if they're not earning money, or like they're not earning more money than their girl, for example, or something like that, it's like a pride thing. Like I'm not being the best I can be. When in actual fact, like you're saying, if there was less pressure on those kinds of things, it doesn't matter. I think it would benefit men's mental health a lot more. I agree. I just think we just need to be careful sometimes, and we all do it. Like I want a manly man, like, but in actual fact, like sometimes it's okay to just be like, men can be in touch with their emotions. In fact, it's quite refreshing.
I think
it's unhealthy
really
to bowl all in.
I think as a woman, it's a real privilege to see a man in a vulnerable place.
100%.
Because that's not something that they show to everyone.
Yeah, I agree.
Bless them.
I know. Talking of men or women, whatever your preference is, in terms of like relationships, and I touched on it briefly, but in terms of your self-love, like I think the thing that comes to mind is like when you are in those bad places with people and they're making you feel like shit, or the bad places, like, is love blind? Like when we've all been in situations where like you've been in a situation perhaps, or situationship, relationship, sometimes even a friendship, where you think it is golden roses at points, and people are telling you like, you know, they shouldn't be doing that, right? And you're like, yeah, but it's because of this.
And you're making
excuses like listed along my arm of excuses for behaviours that I would never. Yeah, like the red flags. You're just ignoring them because you think, well, we'll get past this and it'll be better. Like I've had relationships that have been like mad roller coasters.
Oh
like,
my god.
Yeah, up and down.
A good day and then a shit 3 weeks and then a good day, and you
hold on to that good day.
That good day is like, but we might have that good day again.
Yeah.
Like
basically throughout that whole relationship, it was just quite low, really. Even on the good days, it's just.
And then it starts slowly but surely. Well, in my kind of situation, you start to get to a point where you don't tell your friends about arguments.
Definitely, and it's really hard when that other person can be the most charming, charismatic,
to everyone
like
else.
you'll go out and
else.
you'll be like, even when I won't say names, but remember when I met you and Natalie in London, and Natalie was like, you and him perfect, like so good together, and we literally broke up like a week later. I was like, oh, Natalie's gonna be really sad.
And it's so hard when other people see that person as like really
special,
good, and then things come crashing down. It's like
you take it
if you
onto
only
yourself,
knew
don't
what
you?
I experienced with that person, you wouldn't think that of them. And it's you have to learn as well to let go of that, because I've been in situations where things have come down and I think, oh God, people are going to think I'm a really bad person because they come across as really nice. But in actual fact, give a fuck.
Right.
If you don't, like, if you're not in the relationship, it doesn't matter to me what your opinion is of that person or of me because at the end of the day, you don't live my life.
Yeah.
Nobody lives my life. So if I don't want to be in that toxic place, I will leave.
Exactly.
And
toxic
that
is toxic at the end of the day, regardless.
Right. There's no good toxic.
Yeah, there's no good toxic, regardless whether it's like, I don't know, they're being slightly abusive or they're literally just not doing anything or, you know, they're not treating you nice or they've been abusive to you physically. Like, I feel like there's this big massive stigma, oh well, they're not doing this and they're not cheating on you, so you know it's absolutely fine. Do you know what I mean? They feel like just because they're a reasonable guy that you should just put up with certain things, and I just don't think that's the case.
Bottom barrel behaviour that is not abusive behaviour, but it's still bottom barrel.
But this is what I was talking about when we were younger. We get conditioned to think like, oh, like just because he's not cheating on me, it's like love. This is it.
The bar is on the
I've
floor.
found it. Like, I have found
they
this.
are loyal, so that's all that matters.
That's a
really,
minimum.
like,
That's a
I'm
minimum
not even happy,
requirement.
so
It's like coming back to that thing of not settling, isn't it? Like having those things. And some people write a list, like of the things that they think is ideal. And whatever works for you, I guess, works for you.
Yeah.
I just think you have to understand, like, what will truly make you happy. Like, you have to think,
you have to really know
at
yourself.
our age, you have to think long term. Like, we're not talking about these kind of, like, relationships, situationships that you have when you're younger, but, like, you get to a certain age where you're thinking about, well, from my perspective, you're thinking about settling down and really having a life with somebody. So you can't just be thinking, well, they're loyal, that's fine.
Yeah.
It's about, you know, are they courteous? Are they thoughtful? Are they, you know, are you equal in relationship? Are
Is he
you taken care
passionate?
of?
Is he
those
like
things are really
looking after
important.
you? Is he like nurturing your style? Is he making that spark go off? Like,
I'm a firm believer now that I don't see why anyone should have to settle for less than exactly what they want.
Yeah.
There are like 7 or 8 billion people in the world. Like,
I feel
there
like
is
you're
going to
gonna end
be
up finding
someone
someone
out there
that
that
suits
ticks
you.
every single box. Like, there just
Eventually,
is.
yeah, of
Eventually.
course.
and this is why I'm single.
That's the thing. Like, it's fine to be single and just wait.
Yeah,
like,
no,
you don't
it is.
should
Yeah.
just
Be
accept
patient.
the first thing that comes along because it seems like it's okay. Like, I don't want okay. It's like what I said last time. When somebody
Literally.
said to me, like, you want a fairy tale. I know fairy tales don't exist, but like, I want what I want, and I will get it. Because it's just not with you.
I would
Like,
rather be 29 and single than 29 and with someone in a situation I can't turn back from, like owning a house or being engaged or whatever it may be with the wrong person.
I think love can also be blind in the sense that love is actually in front of you with like a friend possibly, or like, you know, someone, and then you're just not really going there with someone. Like, but love is also blind in that way. Like, maybe you're not seeing what is that, like what you do deserve.Maybe you're in that bad situation and then like you don't realise you
Because I feel like
and
sometimes
there's a
maybe
guy out there
like
that will do it.
in the past with myself, when I've gone from being like in a slightly abusive relationship, the next relationship I then got into, I felt like that was literally like God's gift
Because you were
of such a bad situation.
Because he
I
weren't
went
putting his
through.
hands on you.
And then realistically, I'm thinking to myself like, no, I'm still settling in a way because I'm like, I went through an abusive relationship, but now I'm still not happy. But like, why should I just be accepting everything just because he's not putting his hands on me or not shouting abuse at me every 5 minutes or not calling me up thinking that I'm up to something? Do you know what I mean? Like, I just think to myself, there's just these certain aspects where I will just maybe make excuses and like, I think I feel like I definitely have settled.
Yeah, and do you know what the worst thing is? It's like you say, there's people around you that truly love you, whether that be parents, family, or your friends, that are trying to tell you the whole time. Like, I remember I've been in situations and my mum has seen me cry, and it like breaks her heart so much that she's like upset and crying, and then
they're physically telling you like the best thing for you. And
at the end of the day, you're only going to do what you want to do when you want to do it. So,
but your mum knows best.
Your
My mum's always said to me, you'd much rather be unhappy by yourself than be unhappy with someone else. You're still
and
unhappy.
have someone making you unhappy.
Whatever way you look at it, you can't
At least when you're unhappy by yourself, you're so low that you build yourself back up, and there's just no interruption, and you're doing it, and you're focusing on yourself. But yeah, what your mum said is so true. If you're unhappy with someone else, then that person's just chipping away at you.
Chipping away at all that self-love that we were talking about earlier, that you've invested in so much. It takes so much to get that back up after it's been damaged. It's like, oh, I've got to do this again.
Right.
Like, it's exhausting. Like, and I think that's why when you do find happiness and there's somebody that makes you feel like that without too much effort, or it just comes natural.
It's the effortless side of things. It's the fact that, wait a minute, this shouldn't be this hard. Like, I'm doing all of this just to get this one little result, and like, that's not even making me happy. So why the hell am I still doing that?
Have you had those moments? Like, I've had moments in the past where I know things are really shit, and I've like sat there and almost talked to myself like, "What are you doing?
Yeah.
Like, what are you actually doing?" I can literally visualise times where I've been sat in my car, like looking at my steering wheel, thinking, "You're a fucking idiot."
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing? And then like the next day, I'm like, "I'm back."
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing?
And then the next day your period comes and you go, I knew I wasn't a little bitch. Because same.
That's emotional. It's just emotional.
It's the emotional time for me.
Yeah, I think friendships as well are hugely important, and in terms of like, is love blind? Like, there's so many friends that I've had like over the years that I've invested so much of my time into, like maybe 10-year friendships or something, and then something happens and I think, oh, but I've known them for a long time. Give a shit.
Yeah.
I don't care how long I've known you. I don't care what you've done for me. If you're making me unhappy now and you're damaging me, you've got to go. You've got to go. Like, and that's, there's certain things you can understand, but then there's some things that have happened to me in my life that
Just got to be like, nah,
you've just got to be like, you're not a nice person, and I can't continue to surround myself with the toxic environment that makes me like it. Like, I've had friends before that are like, oh, I don't like that person, you shouldn't like them either. Like, no. If you've got a problem with somebody, then that's your problem. Like, I can't hate somebody because you hate them. That's your issue, not my issue.
That's quite good.
Yeah.
It's crazy. I don't operate like that.
I feel like when you find your tribe, it all is very
like that
natural anyway. Like, it all just really falls into place and clicks, and like, you don't even like, I don't know, I just think about like my like close friends who I like talk to every day or spend a lot of time with and stuff, and like, we don't even really talk about like people.
You talk about
like, why would you have that negativity in your conversation anyway? Like, for me, that just doesn't compute as part of a conversation I have with my friend.
A lot back in the day.
I find it bizarre when people kind of sit there talking about other people. Don't get me wrong, we're all a bit human. Sometimes it can happen a little bit, you just be like, oh, you never guess what happened the other day. Like, it is human. But if you're genuinely hanging out with your girls for like a good, 4 hours, and all you're doing is talking about other people and how they're living their life, and that's mental.
Do you know what as well?
You talk about goals, you talk about like your growth, and you talk about like what you've got going on and that. Like,
exactly.
There's those situations as well that I've had, and like we probably all had them, where somebody comes to you, it might be a friend or somebody like an associate or whatever. Yeah. They'll come to you and be like, so and so was talking shit about you the other day. Okay, that's fine, but what were you saying? Yeah. Because if somebody's coming to me and talking to me about my friends that I love, you better believe I'm not sat there talking shit.
I'm not tolerating it. No.
Don't bring that to me. If you've got an issue, that's fine, but don't bring it to me, because I'm not going to engage that conversation. And I'll call people out on that behaviour. I'm not going to sit there and hear other people talk badly about other people that I love and just be like, and then go to them the next day.
I find it weird though that a friend can go, like, imagine if that was me and you. Yeah. Oh, so-and-so was talking so much shit about you, and you'd be like, why are you even telling me this?
The way you're telling me right now, like, what is the fuck wrong with you? You know what I mean?
Like, that's not even a thing in my friendship group. I'd never. That's just strange.
I know.
I find it's too bizarre.
Some people are strange.
I was going to say, people be
strange or well. There's one more thing I wanted to touch on, and it's something that I've seen on social media over the last couple of weeks. And some people will believe in it and some people won't. I've seen lots of people posting like, we should all be on the same page, but it's about this common law thing. About, do you guys know what I'm talking about? Or
I don't.
No, so I kind of looked it up a little bit, but I don't know a lot about it to comment on it kind of thing.
So I might get Siege to chime in a bit, because we've been like watching it like all the time. So there's a law, so say, let's just put into perspective that CJ is a trainee solicitor. So he's 7 years now. Are you in? 7 years? Trying to study law, essentially, yeah. And then these people that have come along that have read a Wikipedia page on this common law, they're like, I sit under the jurisdiction of common law, and the rules of the law do not apply to me. The government guidelines for COVID they're not a law, and I don't have to abide by them.
Was there a Facebook video?
Facebook videos.
Okay, I think I've seen one.
Yeah.
There's a
I've
guy
seen
called, what's his
one.
name? What's the guy's name? Aaron something.
Yeah, some guy from Bristol.
Some guy from Bristol, his name's Aaron, he owns a tattoo shop, and it's been going on and on and on for weeks now, where the police have turned up, the council have turned up, and they're saying, like, you shouldn't be open, like, we're in a lockdown.
So he was open the whole
He
time?
was open the whole
Right,
time,
okay.
tattooing people, obviously
Right.
touching, like, bodily fluids.
Jeez.
It's quite, in my perspective, like, quite a dangerous situation when you're kind of,
you're not taking it seriously, yeah.
Yeah. So, the council turned up and they're like, right, we're issuing you a notice. And he stood there, he's like, I don't accept your notice. Okay, well, we'll leave it on the side then because, like, whether you accept or not, we're going to leave it. And then they come back the next day and he serves them a notice, which is like, if you come here again, then by the barons of common law, I mean, you might be able to say a bit more, Siege, about, like, what he's been saying, because we've been watching it, but, I'm sorry if this offends anyone, because, actually, I'm not sorry, because I have my opinion, but, like, we live in a world where we are governed by law. Like, there are laws in place for a reason. And the law that's in place at the moment, we may not all agree with it. We may not all abide to it, like, solely. There's things that we've all done, I think, above everybody that have breached the guidelines at times. But when you're stood there and you're saying, I don't stand under this law, I stand under a different law from everybody else. I'm a people...
Who are you, God?
Who are you?
Very Britain firsty kind of EDL.
They may as well be they're cut from the same cloth. And like then the police would turn up and he's like, I want your badge number, I want your name, I want like really demanding, and then goes on Instagram Live for like 40 minutes saying, I mean, tell him some stuff that he said, like I can't.
It's madness, really. But the thing I find interesting about it is obviously with lockdowns in place, businesses up and down this country are trying their hardest to be able to continue, and obviously these people have bills and stuff to pay, and they're just average human beings who just want to get on with their lives, and then they'll have employees who are just average human beings who want to get on with their lives, but these people who have zero legal training at all. So I did 2 years of A-levels, 3 years of a law degree, 1 year of a master's, and I've still got another year of training to do, having done another year. So it takes about 6-7 years to qualify
and they think
as
they know what
a
they're
solicitor.
talking about.
Yeah.
And then you can have your opinion, but to go online and then just spread loads of bullshit, which will then make someone out there who's in need of help,
Yeah, of course.
go up there, watch a video, and be like, oh my god, you're saving my business, and then someone will do something, and then the council will be like, well, no, we're just going to fine you.
Yeah.
And they're in a worse situation there.
Exactly. So you're not these types of people will go out there and try to make themselves seem insanely intelligent, but what they're effectively doing is you're taking
making it
people who are
worse.
very desperate because they're
And
can't pay their
vulnerable.
bills. Exactly.
Yeah.
And they're going out there, they're listening to this idiot talk shit about something
Because they're clinging on to that little bit of hope.
Yeah.
Exactly. Talking about laws that applied when the Magna Carta came out in like the 13th century, which don't apply, and when they did apply, they applied to people who worked for the king at the time.
Oh my god.
Like that sort of stuff. And then, for example, there's a story that came out where this lady who owned a salon in West Yorkshire somewhere, who's probably gone out in need, in desperation, watched some of these videos, as then the council's come up to her and said, like, we're going to fine you if you keep open. And she's there saying something about common law.
Oh no.
Oi,
And then she's ended up being fined like 20 grand.
This
She's
is-
now 20-30 grand in debt because she's obviously needed help, and some idiots have gone on there and promised her shit that she can't even rely on.
Wait, but this is the power of Facebook, though, isn't it?
100%.
It's the power of
It's
Facebook.
social media, isn't it? Like,
Literally.
you don't need to be qualified in anything you talk about. You just have to talk about it, and certain people
Gravitates towards a certain market of people,
All sound
and then
like
they
you
just
know what
run
you're
with
talking
it.
about, basically. Just sound like you know what you're talking
Facts.
about, and then someone's going to jump on it.
Someone's
nuts.
one discussion I've been having in a Facebook
Should be in
a WhatsApp
sales.
group with some of my closest friends is to do with a COVID vaccine. Obviously, there's issues with the COVID vaccine. If someone turns around and says to you, look, I'm very doubtful that a COVID vaccine is safe.
Yes,
That's fine,
That's
because at the end of the day, if something goes in your body, like a vaccine, it could have insanely detrimental effects.
Yeah.
And there's
Everything has a downside.
Yeah.
Exactly. There are historic examples where vaccines have gone into people's bodies and they've infected children.
Yeah, for example.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But people aren't basing it off of just I have a genuine worry. People
Not the
will go
facts.
on, they'll watch a YouTube video and they'll be like, I'm
not
discounting everything thousands of scientists have said because Barry from Glamorgan is telling me that a vaccine is bare dangerous to go into my body. Not like, Barry's out here with 2 GCSEs.
Yeah.
But the scientists who went to Harvard...
We're not going to believe what he said.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The other issue that I have with that as well, you mentioned the MMR.
Yeah.
Like, I just don't get when people are saying no to vaccines because is death worse than autism? Like, would you rather be autistic or dead?
Another thing is they're going to track us. They're going to CJ says something the other day, like,
Our lives
they're
are
gonna
that
track us, like,
interesting.
excuse me, but also you use contactless payments. You've got tracked on your phone.
Yeah, your phone opens with your actual
Use
face
Alexa.
and your
Like,
fingerprint.
everybody
Do you know what I
knows who
mean?
you are. Like, you're tracked anyway. Let's face it, we live in the 21st century where everything, your location settings on your phone, if they're switched on, everybody knows where you are.
Exactly.
We
That's
talk
right.
about
I go into
certain
the
things,
shop.
they pop up already.
Yeah,
Exactly. I go
Like-
to the shop and Google will message me like, how was it in co-op? Give me a review. I'm like, oh shit, I forgot to turn my location
I know
off.
for a fact that my FBI agent who is tracking me through my phone is bored because my life is not exciting.
So, yeah, I think everyone is entitled to their opinion. If you don't want the vaccine or you want to live under common law, that's up to you. But I think to push that on other people that may not have the understanding or... I think we all have a duty as human beings to find things out for ourselves. We shouldn't have to be spoon-fed
100%,
information.
yeah.
But for those that perhaps don't have the resources or the time or they're easily impressionable.
Sometimes people are very naive though.
Yeah.
Like, when it comes to social media and things like that, when someone is sat there being so passionate about something, sometimes people are just like, no, I've got to believe
You have
it.
to use the
I've got
buzzwords.
to-
Like this common law guy, he's there going, yeah, it's this baron, it's this
Sounds like he knows what
jurisdiction,
he's talking
about.
using all these words that for most people we won't understand
yeah,
it.
yeah.
They sound really
Connect to them.
powerful. Oh, let's do it. That's all. And like Siege said, that the guy, the girl who followed that same thing has now got 20 grand to pay. Like, are you paying that? Are you paying that?
Yeah.
So-
I've just got to spend 20 grand.
you're not paying my fine, but I'm listening to you, and like you've seen his followers build from 2,000 to 20,000, which just goes to show that
When you
loads
have the
of
followers and that people will listen to you and that as
Crazy,
well.
isn't it?
It's like a trend to follow social media as well, where everyone's agreeing.
Yeah.
So everyone just starts following. It's like a trend, isn't it? So
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
And the
think
more
that's
traction it gets, the
something
more
that-
credentials it has.
Yeah, and the more
Yeah.
people that are saying it, and you think of those people, like I saw Steph London retweet this one gym guy who does the common law thing, who kept his gym open, and she retweeted it, and I was like, people like that need to be so careful. They're so for young people especially.
Yeah.
It's so impressionable.
Yeah.
And it's so dangerous because you're feeding people that love you and admire you and idolise you.
Oh, well, she's
Really
on it,
wrong
so
information.
Yeah,
I'm gonna
100%.
It's like when,
posted it.
I mean, I think that probably the Kardashians is a whole other conversation to have because I've got a lot to say about it. But one thing I didn't like was when they're doing flat tummy teas and stuff like that, because it's like, do you know how impressionable young girls who are either going through an eating disorder or on the brink of an eating disorder or are potentially going to get an eating disorder because of this.
Yeah.
Let me eat that one lolly all day and I'll lose weight.
Yeah. Do you know what's nice to see on social media? And I've seen it a lot over the past 12 months during lockdown, and it is influencers and just standard girls like you and I, that are showing real images of their body. Just one shout out while we're talking on this topic is Ellie Gilliver.
Yeah.
She did. I took part of her Body Love campaign, and she got everybody to literally. And some people were showing their insecurities or just talking about them, about things that they didn't like about their body.
Yeah.
And there's other people that I've seen post pictures of their tummy as it is when you're sat down. Rather than watching influencers on my screen in the mirror that they've spent an hour afterwards editing on PixArt.
Or have
Of
so much
smoothing
surgery
and changing
or-
their body, and, all of those things, like body tuning. To see people just as they are, because we all know that none of us are picture perfect. We've got cellulite, we've got stretch marks.
Yeah, what I've
our
liked
bodies.
seeing lately is when girls show pictures, the unedited pictures,
Yes.
with their pores and stuff.
Yeah.
Because I think pores don't get talked about enough. We all have pores and that, but obviously, and like you said, we like to smooth our faces out and that. But we get quite insecure about that in the photos, and it's nice to see more people just like, here are my pores. Like, I ain't trying to like.
Here's the picture before.
Yeah.
Here's the picture edited.
Yeah.
I like this whole thing.
And I think
lot of
that's good for
celebrities are
men
doing that
as well, because we as girls, quite often we see each other's bodies, and like, so we'll get changed in it. So I'll know that I'm not the only one with body insecurities. Like me and Mara will be like in our underwear, like we will see each other.
Yeah.
Whereas guys don't, and guys who haven't seen many women, they see these pictures on Instagram and they think that that's what females look like. That's not
I
what
woke up
females
like
look
this.
like. So
Can I get started to interrupt?
Yeah.
I think the same energy that you guys are giving to sort of like. I find this topic so funny because
Go on.
I remember there's a photo of Molly May that came out where they photoed Absolute got her jumping off of a boat somewhere, and obviously she was in sort of a bathing suit with no makeup on, and it was just her natural self.
Yeah.
And then it went on to the Daily Mail, and then there's obviously loads of men who've never dealt with women before.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Giving it all that energy, but at the same time, all you people that follow Molly May need to get that same energy back at you. You want to give those men shit. We need to give you lot shit because you follow Molly May. I'm not saying you guys do.
Yeah.
The women that follow Molly May who then post up an image that doesn't look anything like her in real life.
Yeah.
You need to get the same energy back because what you're doing is you're allowing her to have bare followers that then allows 16, 17-year-old girls to follow her and think that's what you're meant to look like. If you're going to give men shit for, demeaning women for how they actually look, we need to give you lot shit for following women who give an impression of what
But
women
that's what I'm
don't
saying.
actually look like.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. I think for
It's sorry to go back, but it's what was said about the Kardashians, about the flat tummy tees. That's not real life. Like,
No.
so all this stuff, like the reason why Molly May's got these nice little contracts with like Pretty Little Thing and stuff is because they realise she is
Marketable.
brings in money. She's marketable, right?
Marketable,
And the only reason she's marketable is because people follow her. But at the same time, you're following someone who's not actually given an actual image of what women look like on a day-to-day basis. Which is fine when you're sort of 27, 28, 30, because at that age, you're just like, okay, well, I'm happy with myself. But she's having such a bad influence on 13, 14-year-old.
Yeah.
I couldn't imagine going to school in this day and age.
I know.
No, I know.
I do feel a little bit bad though, because like when you take a picture in a mirror or in a selfie, it's always going to be different from what someone else takes of you.
Yeah.
Like to an extent, isn't it?
I
I'm
do
much
agree
more
though.
critical of myself than like, so say if like, we were in a group picture and someone's taking a picture or whatever, I'm absolutely fine with stuff like that. If I'm taking a picture of myself, though, I'm looking at it, I'm like, no, don't like it. Like, much more critical of myself than I am of like when I'm in a group like setting or whatever.
I agree with what you're saying, Siege, and I think that's kind of my point. Is what I'm getting at is it's nice to see on social media now that people like influencers are showing their real bodies. Because I remember being young, and I was quite an early developer, so I had stretch marks from a very early age, and I was really like, oh my god, what are these? I remember when I first got them on my hips and I was like crying to my mum, and my mum's like, Chelsea, everybody has them, always have them. Like even my brother, where he goes, like used to go to the gym, would build muscle and like he'd have a stretch mark on his arm, and it made me feel like so much better. But as an older woman, like I say, we see each other, we're a bit more comfortable around each other. I remember being like in the PE changing rooms and being like, oh my god, everyone's going to see my stretch marks. Oh my god, it's like the worst thing ever. But in actual fact, now I'm like, give a shit. Like, but I wish I knew then what I knew now, because I would have just owned it a lot more. But I think as young females, they don't have the maturity or the confidence even to discuss those things amongst it, because it's even like as a young girl just talking about anything really, relationships or boyfriend, everyone's just very shy around it. Nobody's like open as we are now, and I think that comes with maturity and experience. But yeah, I just think it's nice to see
judgy girls.
Yeah.
So personally, like, I feel like maybe not so much now because we're older and we only associate with, close people that we vibe off of and things like that, and we're all good for each other. But I feel like back in the day, there was maybe certain friendship groups that you not necessarily wanted to fit in, but like would be around just to kind of like, and then they would maybe just say a little comment or something because you've said something, or you're dressed a certain way, or you look a certain way, or whatever. And then I feel like you're then trying to please other people.
100%.
Kind of thing. So back in the day, maybe a lot more so. Not so much now. Don't give a shit what people say about me. I'll wear what the fuck I want. Do my makeup how I want. Do my hair how I want. Everything like that. But yeah, definitely younger girls had this thing of whatever is around or whatever is trendy and stuff at the time, that's what they need to be doing.
Yeah.
So I get the whole, like, what CJ is saying, like, those type of people are so impressionable that realistically they need to be shown real sides of them as well, just to show these girls that it is not...
It's not
all
always
hunky-dory.
behind a filter,
Yeah.
I'm so
All the
glad
time.
we didn't have the, I mean, we had like Bebo and stuff back in the day. Big up Bebo, share the love.
But social media was nothing like it was.
No, and
No.
I
I
don't think I
just,
would have coped.
yeah, same. I think
'Cause
it's
I was confident in
so
school.
worrying.
Yeah, we used to take the selfies that were like, let's look back on them, they're not that fly.
Yeah.
Whereas now, like the girls, they do feel that immense pressure to then take a certain
We already
kind of
talked about
picture.
it earlier.
Nowadays look like bloody 21-year-olds.
Yeah, I wouldn't have been back in the day with filter in my face and
That's what Dutch is saying anyway.
We were saying this literally only this morning. We were discussing like, God, what's it going to be like when we have kids? Like, what are they going to, like, you look at 14, 15-year-olds now wearing Balenciagas or like Alexander McQueen's, like, my mum was never going to be buying me 700 trainers.
My children are not going to be wearing Balenciagas.
No, I was lucky if I used to get the Adidas colours for my birthday. Like,
I
yeah.
got hand-me-downs from my brothers.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? Like, and that pair of trainers was my only pair of trainers till they worn out.
exactly.
To
So
the
they've
ground.
got holes in the
£60 pair of
bottom.
trainers was probably the maximum. My mum would be like, maybe for your birthday.
My mum would do one like clothes shop for like at winter time for like my whole year of clothes. That was it.
I'll never forget, like, it was like my 12th birthday and I got a pair of Cortez and I used to think I was sick. And I wore those Cortez till the shiny night tick was like white. Like
I remember the shiny ones.
the shiny one had come off like but that's because like we didn't care. Like I'd be
we
going
didn't
out and
care as
playing
much
football in
anyway.
those trainers.
We were
with the boys,
out and
like,
about.
after
We
school.
weren't behind our phones.
We didn't
Those
have
your
no.
favourite trainers. You wore them for football. You wore them for going park. You wore
PE.
them for
I'm taking my
everything.
Cortez for PE.
My mum was like, that's
Don't
the
ruin my national turf.
that's the only pair you're getting this year, so you better look after them. I'd be like,
Yeah.
And remember, I used to literally, I remember at school, like, you used to take your PE kit in like a bag, so it'd be like a Jane Norman bag
God, don't.
or a JD
Stop
bag.
it.
And
Yeah.
like,
That was your designer bag.
Yeah, but I
Never
wasn't
be
buying
seen.
anything in JD. Me and a couple of my friends, oh god, this is so cringe. Me and a couple of my friends would go to town on a Saturday and we'd walk into JD and be like, can we have a bag, please?
Stop it.
So I can take my PE kit. I used to think I was sick. Yeah, I went to JD at the weekend, got a tracksuit. No, I didn't. I walked in and said, can I have a bag, please? But
Just so you could carry it around school.
just when you get
That was your that was your backpack.
JD
That
to
was
say
your
yes.
designer bag. That was your everything.
I remember my mum buying me this like Primark t-shirt and I'd be like, oh mum, I can't wear it because it's from Primark. Like I used to like not want to go into Primark.
I'm
Like
100% with you.
that
But
kind
now,
of feeling. Now
I will
I'm in there
rock
every
Primark.
day.
I'm fine,
Primark.
yeah.
I live in Primark clothes, like literally.
Yeah.
So yeah, I just think there's balances to everything, isn't there? But I am glad to see that there's a bit more of a real like perspective on Instagram, especially because it is just all images.
Yeah, I feel like there's just a lot more, even just like the celebrity side of things, there's a lot more like celebrities coming out and saying like, this is like my unedited photo.
Yeah.
These are my stretch marks. These are my spots that they edited
Yeah.
away. Do you know what I mean? These are the couple of little bits of like chub that I have around here that they've made disappear. Do you know what I mean? I feel like it's just giving you that eye opener, like, no, this is the real image, this is what they want you to look at, but
Yeah.
this is the actual real image.
And
so.
doesn't it make you, even now as like a grown woman, it makes me feel so much better.
Yeah, I know it sounds
like, oh my
bad.
God.
It's bad to say, but you know when you see like when people really try to delve into like, oh, this is what the celebrity looks like without the filters and stuff,
Yeah.
and like, but it makes you then
You're
realise.
trying to say this is a negative thing, but I
Yeah.
actually think
It's
it's
a
like
good
very
thing,
positive. Like when
yeah.
I look at stuff like that, I don't look at it and be like, oh yeah, well, oh my god, look how bad they look.
No, I just think of
look,
it
that's
like,
a human being.
yeah,
That's a human being. I'm a human being.
100%.
like you now.
Yeah,
Do you know what I mean?
yeah, makes you realise actually, yeah, we are the same.
I mean, I will say, just touch on this a little bit, just because obviously in regards to my body confidence and stuff, I do feel like this plays a big, massive part for me. So for the fact that I've got polycystic ovaries,
Yeah.
I feel like I do need to touch on it a little bit, because when I was younger and I actually got diagnosed with it and everything, I feel like I never had that kind of like outlet or to be able to do the proper research on it and have loads of
100%.
people have their like tell you stories about what they went through, how they got diagnosed and stuff. So originally I got misdiagnosed with it and I was just told that it's just the contraception you're on, you know, we've got to try loads of different things, and I never ever got to the bottom of it until I was like, I'd say about 18, 19. But I do feel like this lockdown has made me realise that it actually brings me down quite a lot.
Yeah.
Like,
and have you seen Jade's page?
Yes,
so Jade, she's got her own
page and everything
so
like
inspiring.
That, and I'm just like,
like,
oh my god, she's just like talking about it and stuff like that. And I think to myself, like, hardly anyone apart from my close friends knows I even have it. Like, I literally hide it all the time. And just during lockdown, like, I had to get to a point where I was just like, because I was getting obsessive, like,
because there's a lot of symptoms,
I
isn't
get
there?
hairs and stuff like on my chin, and like for a long time I thought like I was proper abnormal. Like, I genuinely thought, like, I know this is gonna sound really far-fetched, but I thought like I was a boy.
yeah, but just,
I know that sounds like really strange. I was like, when I was younger and I was getting like,
that woman you got in you.
I was like, oh my god, am I like a guy or something? Like, why have I got a fucking beard?
there wasn't awareness.
But there wasn't awareness of it. And when like the doctors are saying to me and stuff, oh yeah, they're like, yeah, you got PCOS, and I'm like, yeah, great, what's that? Like, they literally gave me nothing on it. They just they gave me a little scan and was like, yeah, look at all the cysts on your ovaries.
Isn't that nice?
Like, literally
That's
just
my
showed
body.
me, like,
Frame
oh,
it.
you see these little white dots? Yeah, they're all cysts. I'm like, yeah, great. And then they didn't tell me how to manage it and stuff, and I basically just had to like research it and stuff myself. But I have found that literally not being on any contraception whatsoever has helped clear up certain symptoms.
Yeah.
But the whole hair side of things, that's like the only thing that literally is just bringing me down all the time. It's like you shave, within an hour I can feel something coming back through. Like, it's that bad.
Does it make you feel better though? Like with Jade's page, especially this year, like
100%.
doesn't it make you feel like you've got a bit of a community around you? It's a bit like Natalie with Crohn's. Like,
Yeah, she got
having that
misdiagnosed
community.
as well.
Like, I think you can even make friends through things like that.
Yeah.
Just to have to speak to somebody else that has experienced a bit like with like your refuge, the involvement you have with refuge and stuff, just to be able to talk with other people that have experienced the same things as you, it really makes you
I
feel
didn't
like...
realise how many people
We
were
went to
talking
Paint and
about
Sip
it.
event.
I didn't realise how, like, I literally, like, now follow, like, a hashtag PCOS just because there's so many people, like, putting inspirational stuff out there to try and, like, boost you up and things. So I just feel like I know I'm not the only one going through it.
Do you remember when me and Sean went to the Paint and Zip event? That was around PCOS as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah,
That was
that's
actually
true.
all based
Yeah.
around that.
And
And being
endometriosis
body
as
positive.
well.
Yeah. And we was drawing vaginas. It was great.
Don't you find, because I'm sure we've all had issues with relating to periods and things like that.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
One thing that really, really bothers me is when doctors are like, oh, try this pill, and they'll give you the cheapest one, which will give you the most side effects, and then you'll go back because then you'll get another symptom, and then they'll be like, oh, try this one, and it's like, am I a
And it's
human
just-
guinea
That's why
pig?
my weight
Like
has been
taking
so up and
tablets.
down. I came completely off the pill and my
Yeah.
weight dropped by like 4 stone. That was with the addition of like other issues and stuff. But like
Same.
my weight goes up and down massively on contraception. It's like nobody tells you that. I went on the pill really young because I have a bleeding disorder. So my blood does not clot properly. So as soon as I started to develop and went through puberty, my mum was like, let's get you on the pill so
Yeah,
it can
no,
kind of
I was the
regulate
same.
you. And I just remember I gained like so much weight, and then it
Yeah.
wasn't until I come off the pill I lost those weight, and I was like, oh my god, what the hell am I
The
doing?
injection, I was having the injection, and that was making me just pile on so much weight all the time.
Yeah,
I'd say I've been off it for about a year now.
yeah.
Being a
In fact,
woman
probably
is
longer
just so
than a year, no
complicated.
contraception
Yeah.
whatsoever, and that is the only thing that is helping me manage my polycystic ovaries.
Yeah.
My mood swings, however, they still are fucking here, there, and everywhere.
That's because you're a woman.
But it's because you like when you have polycystic ovaries, you have a higher testosterone level than an
Yeah.
average woman. So like my mood swings are just fucking here, there, and everywhere. So I am managing it a lot better now that my weight is down. But I still feel like the whole hair side of things, like, it's just not slowing down
Yeah.
at all. It's just, if anything, I feel like it's accelerating the more stressed I am.
Yeah, which is probably
Yeah.
stress
Then
affects
that's
your
a
body.
vicious
so
cycle,
many
isn't
And then it's a
ways.
vicious cycle. I just feel like
Yeah.
I'm in a constant rut. So I've just learned that I'm just going to have to embrace it. Sometimes I get scabs and stuff from like the plucking,
Yeah.
the over plucking, and I just need to give myself a break.
Yeah.
Because my doctor's got to a point now where he's like, you're actually self-harming yourself. Like,
Yeah.
You're getting to a point where you're getting obsessed with
It's
it.
about. I think you get to that point though. You will get to that acceptance point. Like we all do it with any kind of things
Yeah.
that we're insecure about. You just get to a point where it's like, this is how I am.
Yeah.
Like, and it's fine.
I just need to
Embrace
accept
it. Embrace
and
it, girl.
just go with it.
Yeah.
There's a
Absolutely.
massive difference between like the body love and the body acceptance. When you
Yeah.
actually
Yes.
accept it, it's like when you're genuinely okay
And
with
I'm
it.
not.
Yeah.
I'm just not creating a
Yeah.
problem around it anymore. Like,
Yeah.
Whereas before, it would stop me from doing certain things, stop me from wearing certain things, and things like that. Whereas I just wear what the fuck I want now.
Before we finish, has anybody got anything they've watched, listened to, likes that you want to share?
I've read Women Don't Owe You Pretty by Florence Given.
We
love that book. Which I've had it since the start of lockdown. I've just not been able to read it properly. I'm starting to read it now, but basically it's just about unlearning like things you've been taught in childhood and just learning to accept yourself and self-love and
Very appropriate.
like absolutely. Do you want to indulge in it a bit more because I've not even finished reading it?
No, I mean I just love her anyway. I've got one of her prints. It's by Florence Given. So and she's an illustrator as well, isn't she? And I've got one of her prints up. It just says it all for me, which is I am the love of my own life.
Oh yeah, I had that phone case. Remember that phone case? But she just talks about self-love and everything. She's all part of like the Slumflower and all those kind of ladies in there. Yeah. So like. That book is good, and I think most people who have read it, I haven't finished reading it yet, so I feel bad because I'm talking about the book, but I've not actually delved all into the information yet. But like everyone else that's read it, they've basically been like, oh my god, this book's changed my life. Like,
it's very read me, make me unlearn my bad attitudes and habits towards things.
They talk about body hair in it as well. Like if you've got body hair, she's like, mate, if you just don't want to shave your arm, don't shave your arms. It's like why do you feel like I've got to please a male, like a society for
male gaze.
That tells you like obviously we see razors and everything. And it's like shave. You don't have to shave if you don't want to shave. Like it don't matter if you're a girl or boy.
I've
like
been, going 2 weeks without shaving my armpits. So. 100%.
But everyone read the book. It's really good. If you feel like you need to like learn a little bit about like self-love a bit more and how you can kind of delve into that, then
I will borrow it after you, thanks.
What about you, Shan?
So Anderson .Paak's got a new song. He's my fave. So I got my Spotify Wrapped, as we all did. Highlight of my 2020.
I love it.
What the fuck else has there been to look forward to? But top artist of the year was Anderson .Paak, which was no surprise. But he just brought out a new single called Jules, and it's fucking sick. So that's
He's
my
just such a good vibe. Like
He's such a cat. I just want to be his friend.
I just want to be his What about you, Ma?
I feel like I've not really had time to like watch anything lately because of the whole self-love kind of thing, you know.
You've watched season 4 of Big Mouth.
Yeah, true. Actually, watched a few episodes of that yesterday, didn't we, Mills? Love Big Mouth. I just find it fucking hilarious.
I like how they touch on the anxiety in that from a young age.
Yeah, just as like children and stuff. I feel like it's obviously it's hilarious and it's a bit fucked up at the same time. But I do feel like it just touches on some issues. I'm thinking to myself like, I definitely went through that as a child kind of thing. Like, but it's like, but you don't think about it like it's proper raw, and you're like, oh my god, like
that's what I was
doing
going
that
through
with like a kid, and you're like, but at the same time you're like, maybe I did have them. It's normal, but like it just
How about you, Jella?
I've just the only thing I've been watching is The Crown non-stop.
Oh my god! It's so good. I never even thought I was interested in the royals, and it turns out I fucking hate all of them.
I like literally will watch a scene and I'm like, I need to see if that's real. I need to I'm just obsessed with it.
I had to Google. So you know the guy that's in it that was also in Doctor Who, and he plays Prince Philip.
Yeah.
I had to Google who his character was in real life because I only know Prince Philip as Voldemort in real life. He actually looks like a dead man just being wheeled around.
Literally, I can't help myself. I've been watching like hours a day. I'm like, see, can we watch another episode? He's like, no, we're not watching it anymore. So we've watched 3 episodes.
Down.
And I'm like, but please.
You want to binge watch it?
I just want to marathon
I'm so heavily into Lady. Like I have always been into her. I didn't read the book.
Yeah.
The Florence Given book, because I was actually reading her autobiography.
I've been listening to
that book where she's
where
she's talking like a lot in that book, and that where she was like half writing it with someone.
Yeah.
And she is proper people's princess, and obviously like people have these two different, it's either everyone loves her, the public love her, and then the royals look at her as like, you're just fame hungry kind of thing, and you're just trying to take the limelight away from Charles.
I'm not up to series 4
like,
which is obviously her.
My mum's on that.
So I'm not gonna give anything away, but like literally 1 to 3, right? I only watched the episodes. You know, obviously,
skimmed them.
You know where it says the description of the episode. So I was like, I'm only watching these certain episodes. But with season 4, I watched it from like the start to finish.
There are a couple of episodes which are a bit dry. Like I'm not gonna lie. Like there's some that's just like, all right, like get to the next one now because I want to see some like scandal.
Yeah,
I just want to see everything that's just
scandalous.
scandalous. I don't actually care about the calm stuff, but like, yeah, no, I'm just rinsing it at the minute. So as soon as I'm done, I don't know what I'm going to do with my life because that seems to be what happens. You watch a series, and my life's over.
Oh my god! Until you find another one.
Yeah. So yeah, any recommendations? Then hit me up for the next series because I'm nearly done. But yeah, that's it. So thanks, guys, and we'll see you next month.